The massive crystal archives of the Galactic Council stretched for miles beneath the surface of Centauri Prime. Zextal, the chief archivist, moved his four-fingered hand across the glowing control panel, his gray skin reflecting the soft blue light. Something wasn't right with the data he was seeing. "Computer, verify this information again," he said, his inner eyelids blinking rapidly in confusion. The holographic display showed the same results. A small planet called Earth had developed from basic gunpowder weapons to antimatter containment in just over 300 planetary cycles. That was impossible. Most species took at least 2,000 cycles to make such progress. Above ground, in the gleaming council tower, Amanda Cole straightened her blue diplomatic uniform and tried to stay calm. This was supposed to be a routine meeting, her weekly update to the Council about Earth's latest trade agreements. But the moment she entered the circular chamber, she knew something was wrong. All 12 Council members were present. That never happened for routine meetings. The Council chamber was a perfect circle, with walls made of flowing liquid metal that changed colors with the mood of the room. Right now, they pulsed a deep purple, the color of concern. Amanda's boots clicked against the polished floor as she walked to the center platform. High Counselor Vexna, an 8-foot-tall being with crystalline skin, leaned forward in her floating chair. "Representative Cole, thank you for coming on such short notice." Amanda nodded, keeping her face neutral. "Of course, High Counselor. Though I must admit, I'm surprised to see the full council assembled." "Yes," Vexna said slowly. "We have some questions about your species' military history." The liquid metal walls shifted to a darker shade of purple. Amanda felt her heart beat faster, but kept her diplomatic smile in place. "We have always been transparent about our history, High Counselor." A new figure emerged from a side door, the gray-skinned archivist Zextal. He carried a data crystal that glowed with a fierce red light. He placed it in the center console, and suddenly the air filled with thousands of holographic images. Earth's wars played out in front of them. The American Civil War, World War I, World War II, the Cold War, modern conflicts, weapons, strategies, death tolls. "Representative Cole," Zextal spoke, his voice trembling slightly. "In my 1,000 years as chief archivist, I have never seen anything like this. Your species has fought more wars among itself in 1,000 years than most species do in 10,000. Amanda kept her hands clasped behind her back, her stance firm. "We don't hide from our history, Archivist. War taught us valuable lessons about peace." "Peace," another council member, Call, laughed sharply. "Your species developed nuclear weapons, used them, and then built enough to destroy your planet 50 times over, all while claiming to want peace." Amanda turned to face him directly. "Yes, because understanding the cost of war made us value peace even more. The doctrine of mutually assured destruction prevented further world wars." The images change, showing Earth's more recent developments. The first fusion drives, the quantum barrier shields, the dark matter sensors. High Counselor Vexna's crystalline face caught the light as she leaned forward again. "Your species went from first flight to interstellar travel in less than 200 years. That rate of advancement is concerning." "Concerning?" Amanda raised an eyebrow. "Or impressive?" A murmur went through the council. The walls rippled with streaks of red, the color of alarm. Zextal stepped forward again, his gray fingers dancing over the console. "We've calculated that your species' military technology advances at roughly triple the rate of any other known civilization. Your adaptability in warfare is unprecedented." New images appeared. Earth's latest space fleet, the stealth cruisers with their quantum-shifted hulls, the carrier ships with their swarms of AI-driven fighters, the defense platforms with their temporal disruption fields. "And yet," Amanda said calmly, "we've never started a conflict with any alien species. We've honored every treaty, respected every boundary." "Until now," a voice said from the shadows. A new figure stepped into the light. Commander Lisa Bradley of Earth's Space Force. She hadn't been invited to the meeting, but somehow she was here. Her face was grim. "What do you mean?" Vexna asked sharply. Lisa activated her own data pad, and a new hologram appeared in the chamber. It showed alien ships, dozens of them, moving into position around Earth's outer colonies. "These images were taken 6 hours ago," Lisa said. "Unknown ships, running dark, using stealth technology we've never seen before. They're watching us, studying us." She looked directly at the council. "The question is, did you authorize this surveillance?" The council chamber erupted in shocked whispers. The walls swirled with mixing colors: purple concern, red alarm, and now yellow fear. Amanda stepped closer to Lisa. "You should have told me about this before the meeting," she whispered. "Couldn't risk it," Lisa whispered back. "Our quantum communications detected interference. Someone's been trying to listen in." High Counselor Vexna raised her hands for silence. "This surveillance was not authorized by the Council, but it raises a disturbing question." She turned her crystalline face toward Amanda and Lisa. "If someone is watching Earth's colonies, what do they know that we don't?" Zextal suddenly made a choking sound. Everyone turned to look at him. The archivist was staring at his data pad, his inner eyelids blinking rapidly again. "High Counselor," he said, his voice shaking. "I've just found something in the deep archives, something about Earth, about a weapons system they call Protocol Omega." The walls of the chamber turned pure black, the color of absolute dread. Amanda and Lisa exchanged glances. Protocol Omega was Earth's best-kept secret, a weapon so powerful it had only been tested once, in a remote star system. The test had caused the star to age 10,000 years in an instant. "I think," Amanda said carefully, "that we should continue this discussion in private." High Counselor Vexna nodded slowly. "Yes. Clear the chamber. Full council members and Earth representatives only." She looked at the still black walls. "I believe we have much to discuss about humanity's capabilities." As the others filed out, Lisa checked her data pad one more time. The alien ships were still there, watching Earth's colonies, waiting. The real question was, what were they waiting for? The chamber doors sealed shut with a heavy thud, and the real discussion about humanity's place in the galaxy was about to begin. Peter Hayes stood at the window of his new office in the Galactic Council's Military Analysis Wing, watching the 3 suns of Centauri Prime set one by one. His reflection showed a tired man in his 40s, with short brown hair and deep worry lines around his eyes. The Council had appointed him as lead military analyst just yesterday, and already he felt the weight of his task. "The human approach to warfare is unusual," said a voice behind him. Peter turned to see Vrex, his alien colleague, moving across the room on 4 tentacle-like legs. The Octavian analyst's skin shifted colors like oil on water as he spoke. "That's one way to put it," Peter replied, walking to his desk. He waved his hand over the surface, and dozens of holographic screens appeared in the air. Each one showed a different aspect of Earth's military history. Vrex extended one of his upper limbs toward a screen showing World War I battles. "Your species fought this entire war without energy weapons or anti-gravity technology, just simple machines and basic explosives. Yet the strategies," his skin rippled with colors of amazement. Peter nodded. "Humans have always been good at doing a lot with a little." He pulled up another screen, this one showing modern space combat drills. "But look how we adapted those same strategies to 3-dimensional space warfare." The door chimed, and Commander Lisa Bradley walked in. She looked more worried than when Peter had last seen her at the council meeting. "You need to see this," she said, connecting her data pad to Peter's desk. A new hologram appeared, showing the mysterious alien ships they detected near Earth's colonies. But now, there were more of them. "They're not even trying to hide anymore," Lisa said, her voice tight. "We've counted 50 ships in the last 6 hours." Vrex's skin turned a deep purple of concern. "The energy signatures. They match Krell warships." Peter's head snapped up. The Krell Dominion. I thought they were just pirates and raiders. They were, Lisa said grimly, until they took over 3 star systems in the past month. The Council's been keeping it quiet to avoid panic. Peter zoomed in on one of the Krell ships. Its hull was covered in strange, organic-looking growths that pulsed with green energy. What are we looking at? Vrex moved closer to the hologram. The Krell have developed biomechanical hybrid technology. Their ships are part living tissue. They can heal damage and evolve during battle. Great, Lisa muttered. Just what we needed. Peter started pulling up more screens. Earth's current military capabilities, defense systems, fleet positions. As he worked, he explained to Vrex, this is why humans always prepare for the worst. We assume any potential enemy is stronger than they appear. A paranoid approach, Vrex observed. A realistic one, Lisa corrected. How many times in human history has an apparently weaker force defeated a stronger one through better strategy and preparation? Peter pointed to several historical battles on the screens around them. The American Revolution, Vietnam, Afghanistan. Humanity's military history is full of supposed underdogs winning through unconventional tactics. He pulled up another screen, this one showing Earth's latest military innovation. The Neural Swarm System. Thousands of tiny drones, each one linked to a human pilot's thoughts, moving as a single devastating unit. Vrex's skin swirled with patterns of astonishment. This is beyond anything we thought humans had developed. The computational power needed for such synchronized movements. We call it distributed consciousness warfare, Lisa explained. Each drone shares the pilot's instincts and training, but can also learn and adapt independently. A loud alarm suddenly blared through the room. All the screens flickered red. What's happening? Peter demanded, his fingers flying over the controls. Lisa was already checking her datapad. Her face went pale. The Krell ships, they're moving. All of them. Toward our colony on New Eden. Peter quickly pulled up the colony's details. New Eden. That's our newest settlement. Only 20,000 people. Minimal defenses. He looked at Lisa. Why would they target such a small colony? Because they think we're weak, Lisa said, her jaw tight. They've been watching us. But they don't understand us. They see a young species with scattered colonies and think we're an easy target. Vrex's skin had turned almost black with worry. You must evacuate the colony immediately. A small smile appeared on Lisa's face. Actually, I already gave that order 2 days ago. Peter and Vrex both stared at her. When we first spotted the Krell ships, I had a feeling they might try something, she explained. So I ordered a routine evacuation drill at all our outer colonies. The civilians are already gone. All that's left on New Eden are automated systems. And what? Vrex asked. And a surprise, Lisa said. She activated her command channel. This is Commander Bradley. Operation Mousetrap is now active. I repeat, Operation Mousetrap is active. Peter's eyes widened as he realized what she meant. The colony, it's bait. Lisa nodded. The Krell think they're about to raid a helpless human settlement. Instead, they're flying straight into a carefully prepared kill zone. She looked at the screens showing the approaching Krell fleet. Now we get to show them why studying human history should have made them more cautious. The Council won't like this, Vrex warned. Preemptive military action. We'll save lives. Peter cut in. How many species have the Krell already attacked? How many more will they target if no one stops them? More alarms started sounding. The Krell ships were accelerating, their biomechanical hulls pulsing with combat energy. How long until they reach New Eden? Peter asked. 3 hours, Lisa replied. She straightened her uniform. Just enough time for me to get back to my ship. She headed for the door, then paused. Peter, I need you to document everything. The Council needs to understand why we did this. After she left, Peter turned back to the screens. He began recording. Military analysis report. Earth date 215789. This is lead analyst Peter Hayes beginning assessment of humanity's first interstellar military engagement. Let the record show that humanity did not strike first, but we were ready when the enemy did. Vrex moved beside him, skin shifting between colors of concern and anticipation. Together, they watched as humanity prepared to show the galaxy exactly what they were capable of when pushed too far. The real test of humanity's war capabilities was about to begin. Fleet Admiral Christopher Grant stood on the bridge of the Earth battleship Starbound, watching the tactical display with steady eyes. The Krell fleet was moving exactly as expected, straight into their trap. His weathered face showed no emotion, but his right hand tightly gripped the command rail. All ships maintain silent running, he ordered quietly. Let them think New Eden is defenseless. Around New Eden, 20 Earth warships lay hidden behind the moon and in the planet's magnetic field. Their quantum-shifted hulls made them invisible to normal sensors. The trap was set. Now they just had to wait. On the main screen, the first Krell ships entered the system. Their biomechanical hulls pulsed with sickly green light, living tissue mixed with metal, creating vessels that looked more like deep space monsters than ships. "Sir," his sensor officer reported, counting 53 Krell vessels. "Their weapons are hot, but shields are minimal. They're not expecting resistance." Christopher allowed himself a small smile. That's their first mistake. The Krell ships moved closer to New Eden, their formation loose and casual. They thought they were about to raid a helpless colony. They had no idea they were flying into one of the most elaborate military traps in human history. "Admiral," a voice called from the communication station. "Commander Bradley's task force is in position behind the Krell fleet. We have them surrounded." Christopher nodded. "Send the signal to New Eden." On the surface of New Eden, thousands of fake building holograms flickered and vanished, revealing batteries of defense turrets and launch platforms. The helpless colony transformed into a fortress in seconds. "Battle stations," Christopher ordered calmly. "Execute Operation Mousetrap." The trap sprung with devastating precision. From the planet's surface, hundreds of Neuralink drone swarms launched into space. Each swarm moved with impossible coordination, thousands of tiny ships acting as one deadly organism. Behind the Krell fleet, Lisa Bradley's task force dropped out of quantum shift, cutting off their retreat. The Krell ships reacted with surprise, their biomechanical hulls rippling with alarm patterns. They tried to scatter, but it was too late. "All ships, weapons free," Christopher commanded. "Show them what humanity can do." The battle that followed would be studied in military academies across the galaxy for centuries to come. The Krell's advanced bioships found themselves caught in a perfectly executed trap. Every time they adapted to one human tactic, 3 more hit them from different directions. On the tactical display, Christopher watched as a Krell dreadnought's living hull tried to heal damage from conventional weapons. "Now," he ordered, "deploy the metamaterial rounds." Special ammunition, designed specifically for biomechanical ships, tore through the Krell vessel. The rounds carried nanites that confused the living tissue, making it attack the mechanical parts of the ship. The mighty dreadnought literally tore itself apart from the inside. "Sir," his tactical officer shouted, "the Krell are trying to call for reinforcements." Christopher had expected this. "Activate the quantum entanglement disruptors." Specialized human ships activated devices that tangled the quantum states in a large area of space. The Krell's communications went dead. Their faster-than-light drives failed. They were trapped in normal space, cut off from help. The neural drone swarms proved devastatingly effective. The human pilots, safe in their control chambers, directed their swarms with the speed of thought. The tiny drones slipped through shield gaps and found weak points that larger ships couldn't target. Krell ships breaking formation. The tactical officer reported. "They're trying to surrender." But something was wrong. Christopher saw it in the way the bioships' hulls were pulsing. Life sign scan. Now. The results confirmed his fears. The Krell ships were evolving. their living hulls adapting to human weapons. Several smaller ships merged together, forming larger, more dangerous vessels. "They're not surrendering," Christopher said grimly. "They're metamorphosing. All ships, fall back to safe distance. Deploy the gravity bombs." This was humanity's newest weapon, small devices that created temporary artificial gravity wells. As they activated, space itself seemed to twist. Several Krell ships, caught in the distortions, were torn apart by gravitational forces. But the remaining Krell ships were still adapting. Their new, merged forms were stronger, faster, more resistant to human weapons. They began a counterattack, their bioweapons leaving trails of strange energy across space. "Admiral," his executive officer said quietly, "should we activate Protocol Omega?" Christopher shook his head. "Not yet. That's a last resort that we can't take back." He studied the tactical display, his mind racing through options. Then he saw it, a pattern in the way the Krell ships moved when they evolved. "All ships switch to sonic disruptors," he ordered. "Target their hulls with frequency pattern Delta 7. The human fleet changed tactics again, filling space with carefully tuned energy waves. The living tissue in the Krell ships began to vibrate at its resonant frequency. Like an opera singer shattering a glass, the sonic attack caused the biomechanical ships to shake themselves apart. "Sir," his sensor officer reported with awe, "it's working. Their hulls can't adapt fast enough to the frequency changes." One by one, the mighty Krell ships began to break apart. Their living hulls, confused by the sonic attack, couldn't maintain cohesion. The few ships that survived were quickly finished off by the neural drone swarms. In just under 2 hours, the battle was over. The feared Krell Dominion had lost an entire fleet to what they had thought would be an easy raid. Christopher finally allowed himself to relax slightly. "Send word to the Council. The Krell threat has been neutralized." He paused, then added, "And tell them that humanity stands ready to help defend other worlds if the Krell try this again." As cleanup operations began, Christopher looked out at the debris field that had once been the Krell fleet. Humanity had just fought its first major interstellar battle, and they had won decisively. But he knew this was only the beginning. "Send all battle data to Analyst Hayes," he ordered. "The Council needs to understand exactly what happened here, and why underestimating humanity is always a mistake." The stars seemed to shine a bit brighter as the human fleet began recovery operations. In the distance, New Eden's sun rose over the horizon of the planet, casting long shadows through the wreckage of the Krell ships. Humanity had passed its first test of interstellar warfare. But Christopher Grant knew that somewhere out there, other species were watching, learning, planning. The next test would be even harder, but humanity would be ready. They always were. Strategic Commander Nicole Martinez walked through the silent halls of the Galactic Council chamber, her footsteps echoing against the polished floors. The walls today were a swirling mix of colors. Deep blue for amazement, gold for respect, and traces of red for lingering fear. She carried a data crystal that contained the full battle report from New Eden. Inside the chamber, the council members sat in stunned silence as they watched the battle recordings. High Counselor Vexna's crystalline face reflected the holographic images of human ships executing perfect battle maneuvers. "Impossible," one council member whispered. "No species should be able to coordinate attacks with such precision." Nicole stepped forward. "What you're seeing is the result of centuries of warfare experience, combined with our latest technology." She inserted her data crystal into the console. New images appeared, showing the neural drone swarms in action. "The real advantage wasn't our weapons," she explained. "It was how we used them." Each drone swarm was connected directly to a pilot's mind, while also linking to an artificial intelligence that could make millions of calculations per second. Peter Hayes, who stood at a nearby console with Vrex, added, "Humans have always excelled at combining different approaches to solve problems. We took 3 separate technologies: neural interfaces, artificial intelligence, and swarm dynamics, and turned them into something entirely new. The images shifted to show the Krell ships being torn apart by gravitational weapons. Vexna leaned forward, her crystalline structure catching the light. And these gravity bombs, we had no idea humans had mastered gravitational manipulation to this degree. That's not even our most advanced technology, Nickel said quietly. The room fell silent at her words. What do you mean? Vexna asked. Nickel looked at Peter, who nodded. It was time to reveal the full truth. She entered a special code into the console, and new images appeared. They showed a star system no one in the room recognized. 3 years ago, Nickel began, we detected a unique spatial anomaly in this system. Early research suggested it might be a natural phenomenon that could accelerate or slow down time in small areas. The council members watched as the images showed human scientists studying strange distortions in space. We learned how to control these anomalies, Nickel continued. Then we learned how to create them artificially. That's when we developed Protocol Omega. She played the test footage. A small device activated near an uninhabited planet. Suddenly, the planet's surface began to age rapidly. Mountains rose and fell in minutes. Oceans shifted. A process that should have taken millions of years happened in moments. By manipulating the flow of time itself, Peter explained, we can essentially age any target forward or backward. We can make a star die of old age instantly, or reverse a supernova explosion. The council chamber erupted in chaos. The walls turned deep red with fear and shock. Several council members rose from their seats, shouting questions and demands. Silence. Vexna's voice cut through the noise. She turned to Nicole, her crystalline face unreadable. Why are you showing us this now? Because you need to understand something about humanity, Nickel replied. We didn't develop these weapons because we wanted to use them. We developed them because we never want to be helpless again. She waved her hand, and the images changed to show Earth's history, centuries of war, but also great achievements. The first flight at Kitty Hawk, the moon landing, the Mars colonies, the first faster-than-light drive. Every time humanity faced a challenge, Nickel explained, we found a way to overcome it. Not just through strength, but through innovation and determination. Peter stepped forward. The Krell thought they could evolve their ships during battle to counter our weapons, but they didn't understand that humans have been evolving our tactics and technology for thousands of years. We don't just adapt to problems. We anticipate them. Vrex's skin shifted through patterns of understanding. That's why you evacuated the colonies before the Krell attacked. You weren't just being cautious. You were setting a trap. Nickel nodded. The best way to win a war is to be so well prepared that your enemy loses before they even know they're fighting. And now, Vexna asked, what does humanity want? The same thing we've always wanted, Nickel replied. Peace, but peace through strength and mutual understanding, not through weakness or fear. She entered another command, and the holographic displays showed Earth's latest diplomatic initiatives, joint defense projects, technology sharing programs, cultural exchanges. We're revealing our capabilities not to threaten, Nickel explained, but to offer protection. The Krell weren't just attacking us. They've been raiding less developed worlds across the galaxy. We can help stop them. The council chamber was quiet for a long moment. The walls slowly shifted from red to a calm blue. Finally, Vexna spoke. I believe, she said carefully, that we have significantly underestimated humanity's potential, both for destruction and for protection. Peter smiled slightly. That's a common mistake when dealing with humans. We look simple on the surface, but we've learned to hide our strengths until they're needed. Like the Protocol Omega weapon, another council member said nervously. No, Nicole corrected. Like our ability to find peaceful solutions to violent problems. Remember, we didn't use Protocol Omega against the Krell. We found a way to defeat them without resorting to our strongest weapons. She stepped back from the console, and the images faded. The question now isn't what humanity is capable of. The question is, what can we achieve together? The council chamber's walls shifted again, this time to a color no one had seen before, a bright, hopeful green that seemed to pulse with potential. As the council began to discuss humanity's new role in galactic affairs, Nickel caught Peter's eye. They both knew that this revelation of human capabilities would change everything. But maybe, just maybe, it would change things for the better. The galaxy was about to enter a new era, and humanity would help shape it, not through fear of their weapons, but through the same determination and innovation that had brought them to the stars in the first place. Admiral Daniel Pierce stood at the window of his new office in the Galactic Council's defense wing, watching ships from 100 different species move through the crowded space lanes above Centauri Prime. 6 months had passed since the Battle of New Eden, and the galaxy had changed in ways few could have predicted. The door chimed softly. "Enter," he called, turning to see Amanda Cole walking in, still wearing her diplomatic uniform, but now with additional medals pinned to her chest. "The Council is ready for your first report as head of the Joint Defense Committee," she said, smiling. "Are you nervous?" Daniel shook his head. "Just thinking about how much has changed. A year ago, most species saw humans as newcomers to the galactic stage. Now they see us as protectors," Amanda finished. She walked to the window, watching a human battleship escort a convoy of civilian vessels. "The Krell haven't dared to raid another world since New Eden." "Fear isn't the same as respect," Daniel said, picking up his datapad. "That's why today's presentation is so important." They walked together through the gleaming halls of the council building. The walls shifted through calm shades of blue and green, reflecting the peace that had settled over the galaxy in recent months. Inside the council chamber, familiar faces greeted them. Peter Hayes and Vrex sat at their usual spots, still working together to analyze military data. Commander Lisa Bradley, recently promoted, stood near High Counselor Vexna, discussing defense strategies. "Admiral Pierce," Vexna said as Daniel took his place at the center platform. "Please begin your report." Daniel activated his datapad, and holographic images filled the chamber. They showed the new joint defense network that humanity had helped create, a web of early warning systems, rapid response fleets, and shared technology. "In the past 6 months," Daniel began, "we've helped 27 worlds upgrade their defensive capabilities, not by giving them weapons, but by teaching them how to use what they already have more effectively." The images changed to show training exercises where human officers worked with alien crews, teaching them new tactics and strategies. "The key to peace isn't having the strongest weapons," Daniel continued. "It's making sure that no one feels weak enough to be victimized or strong enough to become a bully." Peter Hayes stood up, adding his own data to the presentation. "We've also made breakthroughs in combining different species technologies. For example, the Arcadians' crystal computing combined with human neural interface technology has created defense systems far more effective than either technology alone." Vrex's skin rippled with patterns of agreement. "The human approach to problem solving continues to surprise us. You don't just think outside the box. You question why there needs to be a box at all." Lisa Bradley stepped forward. "Our latest fleet exercises have shown that mixed species crews often perform better than single species crews. Different perspectives lead to better solutions." The chamber filled with approving murmurs. The walls shifted to show swirls of gold, the color of pride and accomplishment. "But what about Protocol Omega?" a council member asked. "And your other advanced weapons?" Daniel smiled. "Actually, we've been working on something new." He entered a command, and new images appeared. "We've adapted the time manipulation technology from Protocol Omega for peaceful purposes. We can now use it to stabilize dying stars, reverse environmental damage, even help terraform planets in days instead of centuries." Amanda stepped forward. "This is what humanity has always done best. We take the tools of war and find ways to use them for peace." High Counselor Vexna's crystalline face caught the light as she stood. When we first discovered humanity's military capabilities, we were afraid. We saw a species that had mastered warfare at an unprecedented rate. But now we understand. You didn't master warfare for its own sake. You mastered it so you would never need to use it. Exactly, Daniel said. He brought up one final image. The galaxy map showing all the worlds now protected by the new defense network. Humanity isn't interested in conquering or controlling. We want to explore, to learn, to grow. And we want to help others do the same. And if the Krell return? Another council member asked. Then they'll find not just humanity waiting for them, Lisa answered, but a united galaxy ready to defend itself. We're stronger together than we ever were apart. The council chamber's walls shifted to a new color, a bright, clear silver that seemed to radiate hope and potential. High Counselor Vexna raised her hands for attention. Admiral Pierce, she said formally, the council has reviewed your report and your work over the past 6 months. We have decided to make the Joint Defense Committee a permanent part of the council structure, with humanity taking a leading role. Daniel bowed slightly. We're honored by your trust. Trust that was earned, Vexna replied. Not through fear of your weapons, but through proof of your wisdom in how you use them. As the meeting concluded, Daniel walked back to his office with Amanda. They stopped at the window again, watching the ships move through space. Do you ever miss the simpler days? Amanda asked. When we were just another minor species trying to make our way in the galaxy. Daniel shook his head. We were never really that. We just didn't know it yet. He watched as a group of alien children pressed their faces against a viewport, pointing excitedly at a passing human ship. Maybe that's humanity's greatest strength, not our weapons or our tactics, but our ability to become what the galaxy needs us to be. And what's that? Amanda asked. Daniel smiled. Teachers, protectors, friends. He looked out at the endless stars. We spent centuries preparing for war. Now we get to spend centuries building peace. In the space above them, ships from 100 worlds flew together in perfect harmony. The galaxy had learned an important lesson. Humanity's greatest power wasn't their capacity for war, but their dedication to preventing it. The new order had begun, and it looked brighter than anyone could have imagined.